In Unit 5, we bring together many of the strands we've already seen: themes, concepts, wind resource estimates, coding prep, and detailed cost assumptions, and fill in a few remaining blanks, so that we can get a proper look at which, if any, of 8 different cases generate economic value. That is, positive discounted net present value, or NPV, for the developer-owner of a 100% equity-financed 1 gigawatt wind farm.
You'll arrive here and will find the model well signposted and navigable, with a worthwhile README tab. For those of you who don't read manuals or take in course content for that matter, and just want to start learning by looking at this model first, fine. But if you do, read the README bits and cell comments and you should get your sea legs.
Now, if this looks like a lot, don't forget you've been here before. You'll recognise from Unit 3's mini-models nearly all the Excel code, which, like in Unit 3, gets you these kinds of results, both undiscounted versions, that's what's shown here, and discounted versions. Here, you'll also use the same lens from Unit 3 to get a hold on why the results are what they are. We've set it up to make it easy, as you see in this example, how undiscounted and discounted cash flows from the same option compare.
It's also useful for isolating the economic impact of, say, a given change in your assumed mean wind speed, or of any delays. So we use this a lot in this unit in our talk-through of the results. The built-in auditing hotkeys will prove their worth, making it that much easier to see that we've used the same coding as before in Unit 3. For example, for things like the timing of different tariffs, the electricity prices the developer receives, so that you can test options assuming different tariff levels and durations. As an aside, you'll also get a look at an alternative pricing framework, which we don't use in the model, but is worth knowing about. You'll meet again all the cost assumptions, just as Gavin in Unit 4 said they would be. Nothing up our sleeves here, folks, and set up in a way to encourage you to tweak and play what if with.
The few remaining coding bits which we did not cover in Unit 3, we explain here. For example, this section of the Unit 5 model for power losses. Basically, your gross single turbine AEPs from Unit 2 will get multiplied by the number of turbines here to give you gross total farm AEPs. From these, we then deduct things like you see here. As well as other losses from what's called blade erosion. This lets us get from gross single turbine AEP to net total farm AEP, which is the result which matters, as that's the power you actually sell. You'll also get introduced to an important metric, the levelized cost of energy, or LCOE, what it is, why we should care, and as always, how to calculate it.
After you've been walked through the results of all the options, you'll find some follow-on exercises. This first uses a guided line of questions designed to get you comfortable with where you change what in the model while testing your intuition.
As with the other models we distribute, we've included a copy of the case model with selected rows formulas blanked out, so that you can have a go at filling these in yourself and checking against the solve version. We don't delete so many rows as to make the exercise daunting, though you can always make these harder if you like. Just delete more rows.
You'll also revisit the internal rate of return metric, first discussed in Unit 3, for some elaboration and a few words of health warning.
Once you've mastered the model, I'd say, as an offshore wind analyst in my day job, you'll have come a pretty long way. Bear in mind, the detailed cost and other assumptions in this case study model are, like in real-world models, site-specific. You shouldn't go out there assuming that they're universally applicable. Not at all. You have to do proper homework for that when there's money at stake. To some extent, a big part of the learning value of these line items lies in their captions, which make a great checklist of questions to ask about any project. And if you continue in offshore wind, it's a list of things to keep learning about.